Imagine standing on a battlefield where history itself is unfolding, where every sound and every movement could mean life or death. Close your eyes and feel the tension in the air, the ground trembling with the thunder of hooves and the cries of warriors echoing across the valley. This is no ordinary battle. This is the place where cultures clashed, where one of the most legendary events in American history was written in blood and valor. In this video, we're taking you back to that fateful day, guided by the first-hand account of an Arapaho warrior named Waterman. Waterman's words, his observations, and the haunting details he shared give us a glimpse of Custer's last stand, as only he saw it, as it was experienced by those who fought on the other side of the battle lines. Waterman was a captive among the Sioux at the time, caught in a struggle not of his own making. Yet fate placed him as a rare eyewitness to one of the most talked-about battles in American history. His account isn't the one we read in history books. This is a truth painted with unfiltered intensity, seen through native eyes. It's a story not just of the fight, but of the fallen, the battlefield littered with haunting relics, and the lasting echoes of lives lost in defense of homeland and identity. The Arapaho people, to whom Waterman belonged, were a fierce and resilient tribe, renowned for their bravery and steadfast determination. These were people deeply rooted in the Great Plains, people who navigated the challenges of the open lands while often finding themselves wedged between rival tribes and the increasing wave of settlers encroaching on their land. They knew the harsh demands of survival, and they knew the importance of defending their way of life at all costs. Warriors like Waterman took on that duty, facing risks beyond what we can imagine today, in a time when survival meant balancing strength and wisdom in a land full of dangers. And so Waterman, along with a small band of Arapaho warriors, ventured across the plains in search of Shoshone warriors. The plains held perils at every turn, with enemy tribes and settlers pressing in on all sides. These warriors understood that every journey was fraught with risk. Every movement needed caution. But fate, as it so often does, had other plans for Waterman and his party. They were intercepted by a Sioux band who mistook them for scouts of the advancing U.S. cavalry. The tension was palpable as the Sioux accused them of siding with the approaching soldiers, leaving Waterman's future in a precarious position. With the Sioux suspicion rising, the Arapaho were at the mercy of their captors. It seemed the end was near until Two Moon, a Cheyenne chief of great respect, intervened. He saw them for who they truly were, fellow native warriors fighting for their place in this contested land. By recognizing their shared struggle, he was able to save them, offering them protection under his leadership. This act of unity in a time of division granted Waterman a unique opportunity, one that would lead him to witness history in the making. As the sun rose on June 25, 1876, a powerful sight unfolded before Waterman's eyes. Thousands of native warriors, Lakota Sioux, Northern Cheyenne, and Arapaho, gathered to defend their land against the relentless advance of the U.S. Army's 7th Cavalry, led by none other than Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer. It was a day filled with tension and anticipation, a moment of reckoning for all involved. Waterman was positioned on a hill, offering him a panoramic view of what was about to become a battlefield drenched in blood and chaos. From his vantage point, Waterman observed Custer himself, recognizable in his distinctive buckskin jacket. Custer led his men down into the valley, unaware of the trap he was about to walk into. Waterman watched as the cavalry advanced, drawn unwittingly into a fight they could not hope to control. Custer's plan had backfired, and his men were soon surrounded on all sides by warriors determined to defend their territory. It was a moment of sheer survival as both sides clashed in the valley below. Arrows whizzed through the air, bullets flew in all directions, and the sounds of battle filled the plains. Custer and his men fought with everything they had, but they were vastly outnumbered. Their skill and courage were no match for the sheer determination and unity of the native forces who stood their ground. In Waterman's own words, he recalls seeing Custer wounded, on his hands and knees, blood pouring from his mouth. A haunting image that captures the brutality and finality of that moment. One by one, the soldiers fell, and as the native warriors closed in, Waterman witnessed the last desperate moments of Custer and his men. This was more than just a defeat. It was a powerful act of resistance against forces that sought to strip native peoples of their land, their freedom, and their way of life. Custer's last stand became a lasting symbol of the native struggle to resist an unstoppable tide of expansion, a final moment where, for a brief time, native warriors held back the encroachment of settlers and soldiers. When the dust settled and the battle was over, the land bore the scars of a brutal struggle. Among the grasses and soil, relics of the day were scattered, silent witnesses to the fierce clash. Among these relics were items like a Colt .45 revolver, left behind on the riverbank, a Springfield trapdoor carbine, later discovered by a Sioux family who preserved it as a reminder, scattered bones of horses that had borne soldiers into the fray, and the personal belongings of the fallen soldiers. These artifacts tell stories of bravery, desperation, and sacrifice, each one a thread in the larger tapestry of this historic battle. Each artifact carries its own weight of history. The Colt revolver, found on the riverbank, spoke of the fierce resistance and the ultimate end of those who wielded it. The Springfield rifle became a keepsake, a token of victory, passed down through generations as a reminder of that momentous day. Remnants of soldiers' boots, fragments of their clothes, and the items they carried with them. Each tells a story of lives caught up in forces beyond their control, yet united by the determination to defend their way of life to the very end. Waterman's account serves as a poignant reminder that history is not just dates and battles. It's the lived experiences of those who bore witness to these events, who felt the weight of every moment. The Arapaho, Sioux, and Cheyenne were not just fighting against an advancing army. They were fighting to hold on to a way of life that was slipping away. Waterman's story, preserved through time, is a testament to the courage of native warriors who faced insurmountable odds and stood against the wave of forces that sought to erase them. Today, as we reflect on these stories, we honor the bravery and resilience of those who stood on that battlefield. They fought for more than just survival. They fought to protect their legacy, their land, and their future. This account, these relics left behind in the grass and soil, serve as powerful reminders that the Battle of the Little Bighorn was not just a battle, but a deeply human story of loss, courage, and resilience. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to share and like this video. If Waterman's account of Little Bighorn, with all its tragedy and bravery, struck a chord with you, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's continue to honor the history that has often been ignored and keep the legacy of America alive.